Welcome to this second part of EFICode webinar series, Top AI Tools for DevOps and Software Development. Today's topic is going to revolve around AWS, their AI portfolio, AI agents, and how it can fundamentally change the software development and our ways of working. And here is a quick agenda that we are going to focus today, like AI transforming software development. Jackdeep is going to show some AWS demos, and then we close up with the future forward insights, and hopefully we have some time for questions and hopefully also answers. Just briefly showing the presenters today. So my name is Juri Ahokas. I'm located in surprisingly sunny Helsinki. I have a long operational history. I'm working currently as a EFICode AWS lead, also as a DevOps and AI consultant here. I see myself as a enabler, AWS enthusiast. I have been working in IT a long time ago, so I have seen a merge of Linux and VMware and cloud adaptation, infra as a code, Dockers, whatever, but AI is mind-blowing and the speed is unprecedented, so happy to talk about this today. And here is my co-presenter, so Jackdeep, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Yuri. My name is Jagdeep. I'm based in sunny Amsterdam today, which is also not that regular. I'm a partner solutions architect with AWS. I've worked closely with our partners like EFICode, and I'm also one of the Gen AI ambassadors for AWS in the region. And in that capacity, I also work with our service teams. So I'm very happy to talk about agents. It's an exciting space. It's evolving rapidly, as Yuri mentioned. I'll be also giving some demos, and if demo gods are with me, I hope these demos are successful. So yeah, we have a packed agenda for today.
Cool. So let's go to the first topic of today. So AI transforming the software development, like how it reshapes the development practices and what is the multi-agent's role in that. I think that we should first start with definitions and make a clear distinct difference between AI assistants and AI agents. So AI assistants are ones that require human interaction. So it augments the productivity and creativity. So it's like a coding assistant, writing code that you want, checking the code that you want, or helping the project management to do their work, or marketing to do their work, and summarizing data and so on. And AI agents on the other hand, they are kind of like automated tasks, and they are working autonomously to streamline some processes, perform some tasks, work together with orchestrator, and they are really good working with the repetitive tasks, and you can scale up the processes with the agents. So with agents, you can, for example, run continuous integration testing, have agents monitoring your security anomalies and so on. So you can think that a single agent is like a narrow focus, solves one problem, analyze and score submitted code, for example. And the multi-agent cooperation is like solving the bigger task at hand, working together with the different agents. For example, you can have a research agent and then executor agent and so on. So data flows back and forth between the agents. And here is picture like on the left side, this is I would say that before is maybe wrong word. Maybe I should have used current situation. So there is with certain product there is a lot of teams working together. They have like different different features or versions that they are working on, and kind of like only way to scale the speed of the development is by adding people to the teams or adding totally new teams. And of course there might be some friction between teams, like when you bring in new features, it might have like some dependency of other teams work, and there might be even like heated discussion, like who is wrong and who should make changes in their implementation in order to get this new feature working with the product. And maybe in the future, hopefully in the near future, we can have even this kind of like platform engineering type of approach that developers can really focus on the new feature, thinking from maybe a little bit higher level, have a like better view for actual feature instead of like writing test or writing documentation, because those are going to be your like virtual team workers, the agents that are going to most likely perform most of those tasks. And also I would see that the friction between teams will go down, because the agents are the one who are kind of like tracking the dependencies all the time. And when you are pushing your new code, there will be test which says that okay, this will collide with some features or some ways of working on the other features. So you are immediately on top of that, and it might even suggest that you should try to change it this way, so there won't be like a collision. And I would see that this right side could we have most likely everyone have seen the Amazon warehouse, where the robots are working autonomously and bringing packages back and forth to the correct location. I would see that the agents are working in software development similar kind of way in the future. AI agents, they are not only going to affect the software development itself. There will be new roles in CI/CD, like service desk operations, marketing stuff, sales, HR, legal, for example, keeping track of some legal regulations and so on. But today we are going to focus a little bit more on the software development. So what the agents are really good with. So it's going to be like customer requirements, specification, technical designs, of course the assistant part with the code generation, then of course testing and deployment. But I would say that the adoption of the Gen AI, it's not a scientific problem at the moment. So it's more like a IT or engineering problem. And we have solved these kind of problems before with the microservices or with Dockers or like with cloud native culture. So we know that we can solve this. So it's more I see this more as like a cultural adoption problem than just like a scientific problem for us. And when we are talking about agents, and today if we are talking about like multi-agent collaboration or like this is a like example workflow which could go like round and round, but this is just like example of one workflow. So you have the input data which comes to the orchestrator, and it is like aware of the agent that it has its disposal. So it makes a educated decision, like who is the agent that is going to perform the task, maybe reject that task, which is of course need to be there needs to be a feedback loop for why. Then when the selection is made, the agent process is triggered. it will give some response. The response target most likely will be the new agent. But just the emphasis here is that we really need early on store all the data. We need to have like a feedback loop in this kind of operation. So we see the operational metrics, we see the financial metrics, and there needs to be continuous development, incremental improvement of agents, maybe also like making decision that should this task be actually like 2 agents or even more agents that performing this task in parallel line on how to go on with that. So I would see that this is like the orchestrator has like a deck of cards in its hand, and those are the agents that it's going to play based on the input that is coming through. Of course, with the new field, there comes like challenges and considerations. For operations, I would say that it's really important to have like a parallel development of like new agentic functionalities, like new agents, or improving the existing agents, orchestrational capabilities. So it needs to be able to make a smarter decisions based on the data that it has. Security, of course, when there is like new connections, agents need to data from new locations. It kind of like expands the attack vector. So you need to be really secure. So that's where the governance and guardrails and rules come to play. And of course, keep in mind that data also need to be secure on transit. Scalability, this is something that you should really think before actually like launching big, because if such happy thing happens that the business is booming and you get a lot of new customers, or if this is like internal service and everybody starts to use it, so it needs to be able to scale up. But also there needs to be like a financial stability. So if the operations is scaling up, does the cost of your operation also is it linear? And if it's linear, is this like viable from the business point of view? And like I said, it's a like big cultural shift. So developers need to be able to trust these new team members. So they need to be sure that the things that they are performing, they are current, they are like correct, they are secure, and they also need to start to think new way, like could this task that I'm currently working on, for example, the day every Monday I come to work, I need to do something. So could this thing be agentic work, so I don't need to take care of it and ruin my day because doing it manually. And then some key takeaways for this first part is the modular approach. So you really should break the task into concrete small parts to increase the agility and fault tolerance, and clearer the context, clearer the task, better the result is that the agent is going to provide. And I would see that the main benefit from the AI is the like reduced human toil. So try to encourage people to think a new way, like how to automate the routine things, evaluate your daily work, where does the time and effort go, and try to improve from that. Of course, like I mentioned before, continuous improvement. So agent and orchestrator, they need to learn from the historical data. You need to try to find new ways to solve problems more cost efficiently, more timely manner. And of course, as an action step for everyone, like evaluate your CI/CD and DevOps pipeline for the possibilities or opportunities for the multi-agent automation. And at this point, I think I will hand it over to Jack Deep, who is going to show some amazing stuff for us.
So yeah, before I go into the demo, I just want to briefly talk about the generative AI stack of AWS and how we categorize different applications, different things that we have in the generative AI stack. So the bottom layer that you see here is the foundation layer, right? Where we have the most comprehensive infrastructure services to build and train AI models. So here you see Amazon SageMaker, and you also see the purpose-built chips called AWS Trainium and Inferentia, and multiple GPU options that are available. The middle layer is Amazon Bedrock, where customers can directly start using these models via single API and start building the application. There are multiple tooling available with Bedrock to build these applications, and in subsequent slide, I will talk about some of these capabilities. And the top layer is the applications to boost productivity. And here, the two main services that we have are Amazon Q Business and Q Developer. And for this session, we are going to focus mainly on Q Developer to see how Q Developer can help developers in their overall SDLC lifecycle. Right. So it's not just about completing the code. It's not just about writing a function. It's much more than that. And we'll see how the agentic capability of Q Developer can help customers. So when it comes to the different capabilities that Bedrock has, you can build applications based on, or you can customize with your own data. There are multiple options to it. You can use knowledge bases, which is kind of a managed RAG workflow. You can fine tune the model to create a private copy of the model for your own data. It also has orchestration capabilities, and agents and flows are two important items here. Because we will look into a bit more details of how we create agents in Amazon Bedrock and what are different components involved in that. From the developer experience point of view, Bedrock also has IDE, it has the prompt optimization, prompt management, these kind of capabilities. Now, one of the core things with Bedrock is a model choice and evaluation, because what we believe is that there is no one model which fit all the requirements, right? Based on the use case, customers need to select which model they want to use. Customers may have different type of requirements related to intelligence, right? Let's say if you have a simple use case of summarization or some text generation, you may not need a super intelligent model. If you have requirements related to latency, you may need to select a model which is which gives a quick response, right? So based on these kind of requirements, you need to select a model, and that's where Bedrock gives you capability where you can select a model, and via single API, like if you want to switch or try out different models, you don't really have to change your code. You just have to change the model ID, and all the complexity of changing the model is taken care by Bedrock. It also has the evaluation piece where you can evaluate the response using the programmatic approaches, using human in the loop, using LLM as judge approach, and so on. And finally, inference at scale. So there are multiple options how you get the inference, whether you want to do it on-demand pricing or batch. You can further optimize the cost using prompt caching approaches or intelligent prompt routing. Some of these features that I'm mentioning are in preview. And then there are multiple regions which are available. When it comes to security and responsible AI, these are also the fundamentals with Bedrock. So it has capabilities like VPC private link, where you don't have to route your traffic over internet, and you can have private link connectivity with Bedrock. You can also use Bedrock guardrails to secure your Gen AI application. So if you have heard about prompt injection or toxicity, those are the things that you can avoid by using guardrails. And then it also has open source integration, so integration with tools like LangChain, LangGraph, Llama Index. For LangChain, LangGraph, and Llama Index, we have the SDK Python package, which help you connect with Bedrock and different capabilities that Bedrock offers. And in fact, the demo that I will show, the multi-agent capability, I'll show the LangGraph a view of that and how it is done in LangGraph. Okay, so let's briefly talk about agents, because it is important to understand some fundamentals about the agents, right? So when all these foundation models or these large language models evolve, they are really great at having conversations or generating content. But how can we get them to take some actions, or do more things to solve some complex problems, or to connect with the enterprise data of any organization? That's where agents come into play. Right. So what Bedrock agents do is they plan and execute multi-step tasks using your company systems or data sources, and it can answer questions related to product availability, or related to orders, and some other complex scenarios. So as you see, first step is decomposing the task. Second, it will execute the actions. You can define which actions are available. It can identify which actions it has to execute. It will go through this loop until it has the final answer, and then finally it give the answer. So when it comes to Bedrock Agent, it has capabilities which are required to build the agentic applications. So for example, choosing the foundation model, you can decide which model you want to choose, whether you want to choose Claude 3.7, which has the thinking capability, or you want to use Llama model. You can decide. It also has tool configuration. So for example, you want to connect with your own APIs, you can define a Lambda function, you can call your APIs and so on. You can also create your own knowledge base, which has your enterprise documentation, and then you can connect with that. It also has options for memory management, or we can say session or state management. It also has a multi-collaboration capability, and then finally the tracing, debugging, and integration with guardrails. Now, the multi-collaboration capability, which is there in Bedrock, it is still a preview feature. Now, why it is so important? Because when we create an agent application, what we are doing is we are giving the foundation model access to different tools, right? But then over a period of time, number of these tools may get increased, or the task could get a lot more complex. So that's why multi-agent collaboration and that becomes very important, where you can create different agents which has a specific purpose. So for example, if you are an enterprise, you may want to create an agent which is designed to handle tasks related to financial documents. right? There could be another agent which is designed to handle tasks related to, let's say, HR policies. And at some point in time, you want to use both of these agents together. Then you need to define how these agents should talk to each other, whether you want to have a supervisor agent, which gives the task to these different sub agents, or these agents should talk to each other. So Bedrock multi-collaboration capability basically takes away the overhead, the development overhead from developers, from users, and it takes care of that orchestration. You just have to focus on defining individual agents, and also you can simply configure the orchestrated orchestration strategy. With this, now let's look into Q developer, because Q developer is super relevant for today's topic. So based on the recent Gartner study, what we have seen is that 73% of the development time is spent on running and maintaining application, and only 27% of time on innovation or writing something new, writing a new code or developing an innovative feature, right? Because a lot of times developers need to spend time on fixing, let's say, environment issue, or we have all seen, okay, if we are using Node, there could be Python package mismatch and dependency errors, or something is running on my local machine but it is not running on when I deploy it in production, these kind of issues, right? And that's where Q developer try to optimize the whole process for developers. So as I mentioned in the initial introduction, that Q developer, uh, it 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 not only focuses on the code generation capability, but it basically try to help in the overall development lifecycle, in the whole SDLC journey, right? It also gives out the most accurate coding recommendation, and there are some benchmarks around that when it comes to recommending the accurate code. And then it also has the agent capability, which can implement new features, which can refactor the code, which can transform the code. And the demo that I have will basically, I'll showcase some of these capabilities. And Amazon Q is also expert on AWS and optimizing AWS environment. So when you open your AWS console, from there also you can interact with Q developer to get suggestions related to how to optimize the environment and so on. And then finally, it also has security, vulnerability, and scanning capability, which help you remediate security issues in your code. So many generative AI assistants till date, they only focus on helping developers in the development stage, right? With coding companion or inline completions. But many of these tasks which are taking developers time are in the other stages of the life cycle. So that's why we focus on all the other life cycles, where when it comes to reviewing and deploying, or when it comes to creating test cases, securing the code, when it comes to transformation and modernization, and these kind of life cycles. Okay, so what Qt Developer does in the overall SDLC is that it starts with the explore and plan phase, where it can create a plan, and we will see live in action where it is creating a plan to transform the code. Let's say in the create stage, Qt Developer can improve the overall development productivity through inline coding suggestion or the integration that it has with the IDE. testing and security. So as I mentioned, it can help you write the test cases. It can also scan for the security vulnerabilities. And then finally, it can also automate the whole review and deployment process. So it is available in AWS console, IDE, the common IDEs. It definitely has support. So Visual Studio Code, you can find the Q Developer as an extension, and JetBrains Suite also Q Developer you can find, and Eclipse also. But I think in Eclipse it is in the preview. You can further integrate with Slack and Teams, so with by using some other capabilities that we have. And then GitLab Duo is also there. I think this is also currently in preview, where you can have Q Developer in GitLab. Let's just quickly look into the transform, and then we directly jump to the demo. So what Q code transformation can do is it can basically automate the transformation of code, right? And so, for example, let's say you have a Java code, you want to upgrade the Java environment, Java versions, right? And for that, you may want to refactor a lot of code. You are still using Java 8 in your application. You want to upgrade to 17 and 21. You may have to refactor some of the code. You can hand over these kind of tasks to Q Transform. Similarly, for .NET frameworks, let's say you want to upgrade the .NET framework to run it, from Windows to Linux. You can create a transformation job, and then Q Transform can take care of creating the whole plan, scanning through the code, doing the updates, and finally you can review the updates. There are also transformation jobs available for VMware mainframe migrations and so on. So the overall impact that we have seen with Transform is that it can significantly improve the overall transformation process. Right. So earlier, without these kind of assistant, transformation could take up to days, and now it could be even done in minutes. Right. So there is a significant improvement. What you see here is, as I mentioned earlier, one of the LangGraph demo. Here I wanted to show the multi-agent collaboration. So behind the scene, I'm using Bedrock, but then the UI that you see is LangGraph Studio, and here you can see that I have created a supervisor agent, which is taking care of tasks that it has to give to, let's say, destination agent, hotel agent, or flight agent. Now, in this particular scenario, what I'm doing is I'm just saying that suggest me a travel destination and search flight and hotel for me. Right, I'm giving some dates and some other details, and what it is doing is basically identifying the destination based on previous travel history, right? So destination agent is basically doing that. It is coming back with the suggested travel destination, then it is going to flight agent, and here you can see all these, right? So the destination agent is doing that. It is coming back to supervisor agent. It is going to the flight agent. Then it is going to the supervisor agent. It is going to the hotel agent, and finally it is finishing up the task. So this is one simple scenario of having multi-collaboration agent. You could have a lot more complex agentic scenarios, or let's say enterprise IT support, where you may want to have different type of agents who need to work together to resolve, let's say, a ticket, right? But again, all of this can also be done directly via using Bedrock multi-collaboration agent. I just wanted to show you the flexibility of Bedrock and how it can be used with the open source tools. Okay, so now Q transform. So here, what I have is I have created some of the tasks because some of the transformation job, but let me try to do in the real time. The transformation takes some time, so that's why I have created it already to show how it looks. But let me just start with the new job, right? So okay, so it is giving me option that what I want to transform. Do I want to do the .NET modernization, VMware migration, or mainframe modernization? Now I will simply select .NET modernization. Okay, so it is giving me, it has identified what I want to do, and then it is asking me to confirm, or if I want to add some new details, I can. So let me go back and let me show you the job that I have created, right? So here, when I create the job, basically, it will try to identify the source application, and then I have already integrated my GitHub. So I have a .NET repository in my GitHub. It has identified that. So here in the work log, you can see what it is doing. So it has accessed one repository, right? And then it is asking me for some more details here. So here, what it has done is it has basically identified the repository that I already have. This is a .NET repository. I can select the branch which I want to transform, right? And then I can also see the target .NET version and so on. And then when I send to Q, then basically it will start the whole transformation process. Now let me go back and show you the previous transformation job, which was there, right? So once the transformation job is complete, what you can do is you can see the whole status, and if there are some failures, it will show you those failures as well. And what it has done is it has also created a new branch for me with the code changes, right? So, and okay, here I don't have in this particular browser, but I have given it a main branch. It has transformed the code and it has created a new branch. And what I just need to do now is I can review the code changes in my branch, and then if I am happy with those code changes, I can accept those code changes. So this is Q developer transform capability. Again, right now what I'm showing you is a web interface. You can see all the capabilities in your IDE as well. So I use Visual Studio Code and I have installed the plugin. But then it also has CLI, and CLI is the latest thing that we have launched. So now let me quickly show you how I can create an application right from the scratch. Okay. So what I want to do is I have installed Q. So I can go in the chat mode, and then from here onwards, I can start to create an application. But as I mentioned earlier, right? So the Q developer not just focus on the code completion or these kind of tasks, but let's say if you want to generate test cases or documentation for your code, you can define all these tasks and you can give it to Q developer. And right now I've just um uh, not the modernization. Let me just copy the prompt that I have. Okay, so what I'm saying is scaffold a new application, name Nordics recipes using React and Vite. Okay, and what it is doing is it is thinking, it is creating a plan, and here it is asking me to confirm. I can also give a configuration where it will automatically execute these commands, but for this demo, I wanted to show you. So now what it is doing is it is doing things for me. And then it is doing npm install. I think we are all are familiar with these kind of steps. Now parallelly, let me do one thing. Let me just open my Visual Studio Code. Okay, so what it has done is it has created this folder for me, and now it has also done the npm install, and now it is asking me for next instructions, right? But let me just quickly check what it has done. And now, I mean, you would have also heard about vibe coding, and this is kind of a vibe coding where I'm just giving the instructions and then I am letting AI create the code, and then I can further refine it based on more instructions and so on. So I've just navigated here, and then let me just try npm run dev. Let me try to open the Okay, so this is a simple, very simple application that it has created, and whenever you try to scaffold, this is a standard page that you will get, right? And now I will continue with my execution, and then I can keep on giving it more instructions. And let me check. So there was a version which I created just before this session, and let me see if I still have it. Um, yep, this one. And let me. So it has basically created a full application for me. It has created header, recipe details, recipe list, and I have not written a single line of code. I have just given instruction, and then Q developer has created the plan. It has created all this code. It has also generated some mock data for me, and then let me see how it looks. Let me just quickly shut down my uh, too many things open, but let me just. So go back to. Okay, so this is a simple application that it has created. I have not written a single line of code. Now, if I want to further enhance, I just have to say, oh, change the color of this, improve the header, write test cases, or improve something else, connect with my database, deploy to Amplify, deploy to or package everything, put it to S3. I just have to give these instructions. And as long as I have things configured on my development environment, if I have access to AWS, if I have permissions, then I'll be able to deploy the code as well. So yeah, I hope this was informative, and with this, I'll hand it over to Yuri.
Thanks a lot. Really interesting stuff. So underline the possibilities of like Q developer using agents, and also like code generation, which is kind of like assistant bot, but also this is kind of like conversing the old legacy code to the new level. So really interesting stuff. So thanks for the information there. I guess we can all agree that the AI is the biggest opportunity in software development, period. And the opportunity is there. Teams are already seeing the big benefits of like using AI in kind of like assistant mode mainly. So they are able to ship faster, work more efficiently. But of course, we also see that the adaptation level of AI and especially the agents is really slow. Of course, there is early adopters who are like really like mature and their ways of working, but most of the companies are a bit kind of like laggard or hesitant to play this game. Like they play like quarter by quarter, and they don't put like big investment on one single thing, so they kind of like spread out and see like what catches the wind. But I would say that the key question isn't whether the AI will change the software development. I think for you the main question is like how to make AI and agent work for you and your organization, because there needs to be business opportunity and for this. So we really need to see the business benefits as well. I would also highly encourage that don't let the fear stop your AI adoption. Maybe the developers or the team leads are thinking, is the AI going to replace me, or is it AI going to replace my developers, and how I'm going to explain this to them? So I would say that AI will not replace those people. It kind of like empowers them and let them to think one level up and see the things from higher point of view. Of course, the ownership and the control, like who owns the software workflow, it is a governance thing. When we do the cloud adaptation, we are seeing the same kind of things, that there might be this kind of like wild west thing going on in your cloud, and the same is going to happen in AI if you don't have a governance and regulations in place when you allow people to use AI services in general. And of course, the risk and the compliance. Can we trust the AI in coding? Is the AI checking the code that the AI has written? So especially when we are talking about highly regulated industries, if we are talking about applications that might have something to do with the national security, for example, there needs to be human in the loop, of course. And the lack of business value, is the AI worth it? Is the AI worth the money that we put in there? So I would say that there is like a big balance there. So it needs to be good for the user. So there needs to be good user experience. There needs to be like top of the line operations and bringing the best features available in AI to your users. But also there needs to be business, and it needs to have like a clear point of view, like and see the numbers that this is really benefiting our company. So companies need the framework to address all these concerns. Maybe I go quickly through this slide. So there is like different phases here. So the early adopters, I would say, are already in the phase 3, phase 4 and phase 5. They are so far ahead in the future, and we know the field can change over the weekend. So these are the best educated guesses, but let's dive deeper to the phase 1 and 2. So I would say that the most of the companies are here in like phase 1. So they are using AI assistants. They are using AI to help them in their daily work, and it's kind of like preparing organizations for the AI. So companies are building the competencies, learning what AI means, what the large language means, what is RAG, and so on. And then they level up to the age of agents. So they might be using like single agents to do single task. There is like a RAG implemented also. So They have added their own company data to fill out some gaps in that it's not in a large language model, and the governance improves. AI might be used to automatically create the documents and documentation for the code and so on. Then I would say that the early adopters are now in the phase of autonomous agents. We are really seeing the benefits like more efficient software operations. These agents collaborate together. You can have like AI optimized pipelines, like the compliance is automated and so on. And like I said, phase 4, phase 5, they are kind of like best guesses, but I would see that the software factory is going to be similar. Like I mentioned, the Amazon warehouse. The automated agents are doing their job, things are moving, and humans are just like monitoring everything and concentrating on really high level view. So here is the whole maturity framework in one picture. So in case you want to take a screenshot, it's a good combination. And this is really nice example like Jagdeep was showing these features of Bedrock and all the like the whole offering of AWS, and this is what it's going to look like when you are in the mature level. So there is a tenant going in, and all these kind of like core services, GenAI model components are there, application components are there, responsible AI components are there. So there is like a guardrails and so on. And just to finish up to this quote, I don't know, maybe it was shown in the previous one, but I think we really like this. So change is inevitable, and the growth is optional. So it's up to you what you are going to do with the AI. And to end our session, I would like to mention that episode 3, Breaking Silos, are in a couple of weeks, April 17th. It's mainly about Atlassian Rovo, how it enhances the collaboration and visibility in DevOps, and Jess Fraser-Darling and Henry Hammerlein is going to be there. So I highly recommend checking that out as well. And you will receive the email, the invitation to this event, and like I mentioned before, all these sessions are recorded, so you can catch them afterwards as well. I would like to first of all thank Jagdeep, like really good presentation. Thanks for participating, and like I said, as an AWS enthusiast, I'm always happy to learn about new features that you are bringing into the Bedrock and you are bringing into the Amazon Q. So big thanks for you to participating this webinar. Of course, big thanks to all participants as well. And I think our LinkedIn information was on, or like who am I slide. So if you want to connect in LinkedIn, go ahead. And Jagdeep, I give you the final word.
So thank you everyone for attending, and please feel free to reach out to me or Yuri on LinkedIn if you have any specific questions.